Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Hello and welcome to All for United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight, mainly based on one thing, an article that we've read yesterday from The Athletic. Fantastic read. It's not very positive, but it definitely sheds the light on quite a lot of stuff. So we'll be discussing that. We've also got Chloe coming on the show a little bit later to discuss her thoughts on Aston Villa, making a lot of good moves. I know Matt will be happy with quite a few players that's been moved there, and Nat, I know that you're going to be happy with the manager that they've got. Ben shaking his head. I'm not too sure what he's thinking.
Well, we might be happy with what Aston Villa side is a Man United fan. Oh, then again, Matt is Leicester as well, so yeah, he probably would be actually.
Hello to everybody in the comments as well. We've got over 65, 70 people watching already. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so let's just give a bit of a breakdown of what to expect. Obviously, we'll open the show just saying congratulations to the men's team. I know, Nat, you went out yesterday to kind of watch that game. Do you want to start off on that at all, Nat?
What's this to say? Manchester voted the best place to watch it. That's all I can say. It's like the couple when they played Germany, I was in London and it was good, but for me, last night was just something else. Hi guys, hi Liam from Twitter, Arsenal fan. He said he was going to watch, but yeah, no, last night was something else. It's special, first time in my lifetime. Yeah, it was good. That's all I can say. I was saying to some people though, and people might get upset by this now, but if you gave me this final now, or the men winning the Europa, or the women qualifying and us keeping Casey, for me it's still always United, and I'd swap everything that we lost last year for this now, always. So, I take the Champions League third spot. I would still like England to do well, not negative, but just United all the way, and it always will be. But yeah, it was a good night. Not hungover, Jackie, thankfully. But yeah, you would think that I was from what went down. But no, it was just dancing, party, and have a good time.
We've always said on this channel that we're club our country, and don't get me wrong, of course we want England to win, of course we'll celebrate, but once the Euros and the World Cup's over, that's it. We won't think about England again for another couple of years, whereas Man United, women's team, men's team, academies, day in, day out, non-stop texting, group chats, Twitter, YouTube, preparing for YouTube, everything. This is what we're doing, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you to everybody in the comments. I will read a few out shortly. Come on, Ben. Obviously, you've been watching the Euros as well. Thoughts on last night?
It's all right, wasn't it? No, to be fair, mate, fair play to England. It's about putting time, 55 years in the making, get to a final. Fair play to Gareth Southgate as well. I call him a donkey before the tournament. I think I might be eating my words if he goes on to win this championship. But ultimately, if England win, fair play. I'm happy for the United lads involved. But it won't change my opinion on England and England fans in particular, because I remember all the abuse that they threw away to David Beckham, Phil Neville, Wayne Rooney over the years. I don't forget that. And that's why I'm a bit salty towards England still a little bit. But I will agree that Gareth Southgate has changed a lot of perceptions on this England team. This England team is a brand new generation, and it is a likeable England team. And you know what I mean? And I have sort of jumped on a little bit on the bandwagon. I know a lot of people have said that as well, because obviously they've seen me in a Germany shirt. They've seen me my old tweets from back in the day when I didn't like England so much. But I'm just happy for the United players. I'm happy for the country as a whole after a shitty fucking time with this pandemic. I'm happy that people go out partying again. I'm happy that people like Natalie can go enjoy themselves out on the street with their friends. Have some drinks on the street in Manchester and that. And that's what it's all about: bringing the country together, having fun, having good times. But I'm with you, I'm with Natalie. If it meant if I had to choose between keeping Casey Stoney and England winning the Euros, I'd keep Casey Stoney all day long. You know, I couldn't give a fuck about England, to be fair. Club over country every time. But before you go on to ask Matt about anything, he hasn't watched any of the Euros. He's been watching England and Love Island. So I won't bother asking him about the Euros, really.
Well, I will ask Matt. Is obviously ever since that penalty last night, Twitter's got all salty, and it looks like it's England versus the rest of the world. It's just Twitter. It's just Twitter, isn't it? You know, it just seems to be always against England or Manchester United. It just always seems to be never in our favour.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? You know, everybody. It's a bit like when we watch, you know, the women's team. Everybody's digging you out, and it's just the same with England. So to me, it's water for ducks back. You know, used to it anyway. But that's fair enough. Listen, you know, got to the final. Benny, I'm going to correct you. I've had a couple of Spain games I've watched and all the England ones, mate. But you know, if I've got like, I don't know, who can we think of, like bloody Russia or some crap like that, and they're playing some, you know, dodgy. I couldn't give two hoots. I'd rather watch Wimbledon, pal.
But Wimbledon's not too bad. But Love Island, mate, you want to question yourself, mate.
No, Love Island's good.
No. If it was full of real people, you would be watching it.
And too hot to handle. But anyway, we're not talking about all that.
Benny's fault. But no, John, to round up, you know, I think we're used to the criticism, and you know, if we win it, it might shut a few people up. If we don't, there'll be more of it. So you know what? Who cares?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So the article that we're going to talk about for the first half an hour of the show is from The Athletic. We know that Katie Wyatt actually retweeted it, but it was Adam Crafton who wrote it, and it was a detailed look. You know, it wasn't just 2 or 3 points. There was a lot of points on there, and it was a good read. It was really interesting. Things that we'd heard about in the past, most of them, but this kind of like summarised it and put it all together. And it's bad reading for a United fan, I would have thought, and definitely a leader for United. But I think what does come out of it well is the fact that the players are standing up and they're going to go to the PFA. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're after, you know, some support or advice, I think the actual words was. Nat, I'll come to you first. It's just, for me, the fact that we're in a position where our players have to go external for some support. It's just disheartening, you know, just really mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I think we said it when Casey resigned. What is the plan? What do they want? Do they want to support this team? What was the intentions when we first got the team? And I think, you know, it's just disheartening. I don't think it's, you know, I'm seeing a lot of things on Twitter. People are saying different opinions. People are giving opinions sort of like for example, this one, like folding. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. Like, I don't think, you know, like the names that we mentioned, I don't think John Murtaugh's thinking, I don't care about the women's team, so I'm sort of leaving them. I just think it's, you know, the way that our club is structured, there's not enough people around to help. You know, I think when the women's team first started, there was, you know, job sharing, and we all thought, oh, it's great. You know, it's going to help integrate it. But, you know, I think they didn't realise how big it would be, how many fans they'd get, how much interest there would be, and how much actual work it takes to run a football team. They need to run it the same as like the men's. So if the men have 20 staff behind the scene, the women need 20 staff behind the scene. You know, there should be no difference there. But I think, you know, potentially they've gone in just thinking, oh, we can just do it like this, and they've realised, no, we can't. We need this, and you know, the shock of Casey resigning has sort of given them that kick up the arse, I'd probably say. And they've recruited more staff. They recruited, like I said, physios, doctors, and that's what we need. We need stuff like that. We need, you know, all these kind of things. We had all those injuries, you know, having a performance coach, physio, all that kind of stuff will help, you know, the girls staying fit and all that kind of thing. The same way the men, you know, Luke Shaw, rave injuries. Now look at him smashing it. So you need stuff like that. But I think you also need, you know, say if Ollie walked away or Ollie, whatever happened, you know, when Fergie walked away, well, we sort of went to pot, and, you know, we had Moyes for a bit who couldn't handle it, and we had, you know, Louis van Gaal who needed support, who sort of asked out for support. Now, like, they've changed the whole structure, and you've got Fletcher there, and you've got John. And like there was this really good article that came out about John after, and it was saying how the players really respect him. But I think the women do respect him. I don't think there's anything about him, but I just think he's busy doing Sancho, busy doing whoever else, all these players. As a midfielder beginning with C, I don't even know his name. Not in a hurry way. I don't care about who you sign in Sancho, Varane. I was at a point where Varane, that was a player I used to be gagging for, you know, and now I'm just more about the women. And you know, get this channel, we're having videos on this channel, I'm writing, we're doing all different things for the women's team, and that's sort of our love in a way now. More, I'm not saying I don't love the men, but you know, it's my love is the women. And you know, seeing them sort of struggle, and the fact that the girls are having to go ask what's going on. And I know people are saying, oh, which player, no, it doesn't matter which players, but any players having to do it for me isn't good enough. I just hope that maybe going to the PFA will help. Maybe the club are a bit worried, like if we tell because I read it sort of like they were told there's a short list and they don't know who's on that short list. And obviously they're not saying, oh, tell us all the names that you're speaking to, but they're just sort of saying, how far along are we in the process? When is it going to happen? And I think they've got a right to ask those questions. And even if you just say the senior ones, say Zellum, I know Amy's not there now, but, you know, the senior one, I know Zellum, Leah, whoever wants, Millie, these sort of, because Casey also talks about a leadership group. I'm sure Hayley Ladd's probably in it, whoever is in it, you know, they should know. And the club should be able to tell them girls, not all of them, not saying go and tell, you know, the little kids in the development squad. I'm saying tell the senior players so that they can then tell other players, listen, we're going to be all right. And, you know, the person who's, because I've come on here and said, oh, I don't know, Matt did his show and said, oh, it might be. So I'm hearing things, but I shouldn't be hearing things. It should be them being told. But I think they're so, I don't know. I mean, I said this on Twitter and I don't know, maybe it's far from the truth, but I think they're so worried about someone like Emma Sanders who comes in here, or Susie, or someone leaking it, or us finding out, and whether they think that we speak to play, you know, God, the most that we probably say to players is good luck, and we get a little light from them. You know, no player is telling us we're signing this, and no player's telling us nothing. We're even going out there saying, well, I've heard this, and they're saying, you know more than me. You know, that's what, when I've had conversations with players in the World Cup, I've said, I've heard this, I've heard that, and they're going, you heard more than me. And so they're all like, how do you know? And that's what I think it probably is. It's a frustration that they don't know what's going on. You know, come in for training with Martin, and then what? And then that's what they think is. And I think they have every right to feel like that. They should be kept in the loop, you know. There's players there that we want to keep for a long time, you know, Honor, Jackie, and then we're not updating them. Jackie's into her last year. What's the point, you know? I don't know. It's that's what makes it frustrating. That's what makes me think, you know, yeah, I'm with the players. I stand with them. And if they need to go to the PFA to get some movement, good on them.
Yeah. Hit the thumbs up if you're behind our players here, because I think it's really ballsy what they're doing and very courageous. And they know that they've got our support, and they knew that anyway. But it's a shame that we're in this position, but obviously we supported them. Matt, did you want to come in on that one?
Yeah, I was going to ask, and, you know, any of you can answer this, so you can go around. But I think, for me, you know, Natalie talked about a plan. Do we think we have a plan? And I say this because, you know, we talk about things and it seems that something has to be said before something's done. You know, Casey needs to complain before we can move facilities. You know, such a person needs to complain before this happens. And it's not just been this season, to be fair. You know, there was things last season and season one. And obviously season one, you know, we give them a bit of cut them a bit of slack, didn't we? Because it was new and people are finding the feet, and you know that's not an issue. But I think for me, there's a lot of noise having to be made before things are done, and you know, and it's ended up with, obviously we've lost the manager, and it's like Natalie said, you know, players are having to go to the PFA to find out what's going on now. You know, players should be the first to know in terms of pre-season. They get sent the schedules, or they used to under Casey in advance. You know, all the nutrition, all the things that they need to do before they come in for fitness testing. So if they don't know what's going on, how does anybody else? And this is why I wonder, do we have a plan? You know, because to me, this should be a plan that's clear, where everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet, and they think, right, well, if this happens, we've got this. If that happens, we've got that. Okay, maybe they didn't expect Casey to actually follow through and walk. Obviously, now they know that she has done, and she was contemplating it prior. But surely 2 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever it was, let's say she was saying February, I'm going to walk. surely then in February, you're thinking, oh, God, we need to be sounding out people just in case it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So, I mean, like I say, if you want to go around, if Natalie wants to take it, however, I just, want to get you sort of people's thoughts, and do we actually have a plan? Because for me, I'm not convinced.
Well, do you mind if I start off? Because it kind of links in with what Harry Boy is saying as well. You guys sounded positive a couple of weeks ago, and I hold, no, it's true, because I hold my hands.
Things change.
I was calling people in the comments naive. It turns out that a lot of those are correct, even if they may not have realised it at the time. And I was completely wrong, because I thought we would have been in a position where a lot of things were done and all we had to do was announce it. And I'm sure in some cases that's still the case. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a manager, I didn't think Manchester United, a big club like this, as you says, Matt, would have known about Casey leaving back in February, March latest. How could you get to July and still have 2 candidates for the job? How could that even happen? Now, if I understand if it's like a lower tier or even a club that's messed up in the top 2 tiers, but a club as prestigious as this, I would have thought, yeah, everything's done. It's just a bit of a waiting game to announce it. So this is where my frustrations come. So you can kind of see, yeah, you're probably right. A couple of weeks ago, I was probably on the way up again. I was thinking, okay, the outs started to happen. We know what the routine is. We know the outs are going to come. Then we thought like maybe a manager would be announced, or the players coming in would be announced, and then maybe the manager would be announced after that, or maybe even wait for the Olympics. It turns out now, especially with this article, that all our worst nightmares are kind of coming true. Because if the players are coming out, when do players ever go external and say that we need help here? They're asking for advice. So
I think go on, sorry. No, I was going to say the thing is for me is that, like Natalie said, obviously, we don't hear from players, but we do hear from credible people. And I think it's like I said on my show Tuesday, and I've said this on Twitter, we hear things and then it changes. And it's when it changes that people get frustrated, because the people we speak to and the people we know, these sources, they get this information, they're like, yeah, it's happening. And this is what we sort of pass on these shows. We don't reveal sources, but we say, right, listen, we've been told this. This is the rumor, or this is nailed on, this is going to happen. And then it changes. And I think the big frustration is it changes and nobody knows. I could go to somebody who gives me quite a lot of information and say, oh, yeah, what's happening on such a person? It's like with these outgoings now. I was told it was 10 outgoings and we'd look to bring 10 in. And how many outgoings have we had so far? Five, is it? So for me, I'm thinking, well, hang on a sec. Multiple people have told me from who they know, whether that's coaching staff, player, director, that's how many's outgoing. Why have we only had 5 outgoings and we're back in pre-season in a couple of weeks for fitness testing? So it's like, the news is constantly changing, which is frustrating. And like you said, maybe that's linked in with what you were saying about you feel you look silly, but actually that could have been back then. And I'm looking at players that are still there and thinking, hang on, they were dead certain. I've even heard from people at other clubs saying, oh yeah, we're getting such a body from your club, but they're still here. And I don't want to, do you know what I mean? I don't want to get rid of people, but it's like, I don't know. We don't stand a chance, do we?
Go on, Zach, go on.
To say, right, I know people and I see what Harry's saying, and yeah, I was positive and I'm still positive because we know that people are in. Yeah, we're not positive in terms of this communication, but, I did an article that said crisis, what crisis? And I did it because people were booting off because we'd let go Jane Ross, Jess Sigsworth, and the Americans. And I mean, yeah, we don't want to see them go. Amy T, we don't want to see her go. And I don't want to see Jane or Jess go, but we needed it for the natural progression. So it's not like these, it's not like, oh my God, Jane Ross, she's gone up to Scotland. She's not as if she's going to come haunt us in the WSL. So yes, we were positive in that. And like you said, we're hearing these things. And that's why we do these shows, because we need to tell people, because there's nothing out there about, you can check on your Twitter every minute, Sancho, this is the price, this is how close they are. You can check about Varane, but nothing comes out like that about the women's team. That's why we do these shows, to sort of say, listen, this is what we're hearing. We're not going to put anyone on it. The players aren't, like you said, but it seems to be United. There seems to be this over secrecy with the women's team, so much so that they're not even telling players who, any updates. They're not having to go and ask the PFA to ask for communication. Like I said, it doesn't have to be every single player, but you would think people like Martin would know who the next manager is. Maybe Charlotte Healy, who does with the 21s. This is just common. This is normal. You know, you're telling me that even when Ollie was caretaker manager, telling me they weren't sort of speaking and saying, oh, we might be bringing in this, was sounding out that. You know, then obviously they ended up interviewing Ollie and he got the job. But you're telling me when they're making changes, they're not saying, what do you think? So, you know, I've seen a comment. We need our DAU. Sorry if I've said your name wrong, but we need our own women's football director. And maybe that's what it is, you know, because it's its own team in its own right. You know, there is the men's team and there's the women's team. It's one club, but it's two teams. And I don't know. It seems to be, maybe it's because the women's team is growing. But I don't know. I feel like there needs to be that same or really similar kind of roles for the women and the men, because sort of trying to do it with joint staff or less staff, it's not working. You know, there needs to be people dedicated to it a bit more. Not saying maybe that's not going to be the same levels, because obviously there's so much money in the men, so you can put so much, but it's just downheartening, disheartening, whatever, when, you know, it's simple. It's just communication, really. That's what I'm seeing it as. I know there's that accommodation. We might come on to that, but it's simple things like tell the players what's going on. What you're worried about? Why aren't you telling people what's happening?
And this is what they're saying.
We can wait 2-3 weeks. You know, as long as they know this is what's going to happen.
And this is what the article says. It says that they're being kept in the dark, and that's what they're saying, isn't it? Look, we've mentioned Martin Hull just. We mentioned our technical director, but I don't think that we're even close to announcing a new manager. Again, I could be wrong. I hope I am. But why would you say in that article as well that Martin Hull is going to be in charge of pre-season, and that pre-season don't start till next week? So if that's the case, then our new manager is not going to be announced for at least a week and a half, and that's even if it's being confirmed by then. So it could be even later. Now, if our new manager is in the Olympics, I kind of understand it again. But surely, like you saying that, why are the players being kept in the dark? I want to bring Ben in because I'm sure Ben's got something to say as well. Just talk about the whole subject, and I'll throw in a couple of questions afterwards.
It's just indicative of the way Man United's been run over the last 15, 16, 17 years. Shit show. They don't care. I was the one that months ago bang on about budgets, and nobody listened. Everyone was like, oh, we're signing this, we're signing that. Mate, I'm a realist. I can see what's in front of me. You know what I mean? And I knew that the last place that they were going to ever invest in would have been the women's team properly. And the last place they give a shit would be the women's side. They look at it, like I said on a previous show before, they look at it as 90% of the fans are mainly men's fans, and then they look at it as a portion of fans that 5%. This is just argument's sake. I'm just putting these figures. They're not nothing to a true scale. And then 5% have been women's fans. That 5% we can handle. We can shut them up somehow. But that 90% of the men's fans that have been out there, you know, at Old Trafford, get the biggest game of English football called off. You know, they're the ones that they're going to shut up first. So obviously, they're going to concentrate all their resources on the men's side. And I just think it is absolutely ridiculous that we're going into pre-season with Matty Ho taking pre-season training. The manager should be sorted out months ago. We knew Casey Stoney, well, not months ago, but at least a couple of weeks ago, we should have been sorted. And even if they've not told us, should have gone to the players, up, have no fear. You've got a manager coming in. And if it is somebody from the Olympics, or for argument's sake, listen, they're coming in after the Olympics, but Matty Ho will take training for X amount of time until after the Olympics, and then your new manager stepping in. Fair enough. You know what I mean? But what I don't like is all the secrecy. I don't get all the secrecy around Manchester United. Surely, for argument's sake, if it is a manager at the Olympics, surely United could do what the United do for the men's side and go, like with Jadon Sancho, we've got a deal, you know, a proposal with Borussia Dortmund for the signing of Jadon Sancho. Why haven't we done that with a women's manager? We've got a deal in principle with such and such a name that hopefully after the Olympics, for example, if it is somebody from the Olympics, I'm just taking that argument that we will sit down and discuss personal terms after the Olympics, and all being well, boom. You know, everybody knows where they are then, and there'll be none of this shows. And I say, oh, Don, I'm sorry, I don't know how you can put it on this club. Mate, you don't even know how this club's been run over the last 16, 17 years. Just trust me, it's getting really frustrating now. It's like we've had 5 outgoings. I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more, by the sounds of it. Why haven't we announced them yet? You know, why aren't we allowed any incomings? Surely we've got some incomings on the scale. You know, surely, even if it's deals in principle, just like we've done with Jadon Sancho, we have a deal in principle with such and such a body, announced to the fans. It just keeps the fans a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit frustrating now. I'm a Manchester United fan. I love the men's side. The men's side will always be my first love. It has been for 28, 29 years of my life, you know. But this women's team, I care so much about it as well. But do you know what I mean? I just think they're just getting buffed from one post to another post, one pillar to another pillar, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. At least let people know what's going on. That's the least you could do, is just let your players know what's going on. Let your coaching staff know what's going on. You know, I'm sure if somebody went to Charlotte Healy and said, Charlotte, look, we're in a bit of a pickle at the minute. Would you mind helping Marty Ho out just training the first team side a couple of nights a week if you can spare it? You know, I know you're doing a good job with the devs. I'm sure she'll say yes. I don't mind helping Marty Ho. You know, let's get this team back where it's supposed to be. The thing that annoys me is I'm fearing that we're from a fourth place finishes. Last season finishing 1 point from the Champions League place or for Champions League place. I'm fearing we're slipping backwards, and we're going to get onto it later on. That there's some teams out there that shouldn't be outsigning us, outspending us, and outshining us so far this transfer window, but they are, because we're not getting our acts together. And how long are we going to leave it? Are we going to keep going into how long into pre-season? I'm going to leave stuff, because the later you leave stuff, the later that you can gel the team together, the later that people get used to each other, the later that, you know, and you're going to start the season in an absolute mess. And this is what it looks like, an absolute mess. And you're trying to bring in people, you're trying to bring in players, you're trying to bring in a manager, you're trying to impress them. But you've got things like this coming out that players are going to the PFA. What's that saying to a potential new manager? What's that saying to potential new players? People are going to get put off with that. It's a mess. You know, the men's side is a mess as well, the way things have been run, but at least it's getting better. You've got Darren Fletcher in there. They took John Murto away from the women's side. Yes, although I do think he's still involved in the women's side, but he took his sole involvement away from the women's side to put him in the men's side. Obviously, he's going to be preoccupied with the men's side, trying to get things over the line for them. And I'm sure he's trying to juggle, you know, and he's finding it hard. Why haven't we got a director of football for the women's side? Why haven't we got somebody in there that's maybe taking the workload off John Murto a little bit? Just saying, listen, John, you go concentrate a little bit on that. We'll take the pressure off the women's side. We'll get everything sorted here. And if we need your experience and your know-how, especially about the women's side, we can always come to you for advice and everything, or we can always bring you in to a meeting with a potential new manager. Why haven't we done things like that? Why is Manchester United never forward thinking? It's always reactionary with Manchester United. It's like, oh shit, season starts in September, we ain't got no players, we ain't got no manager, we're begging on with it. And everything's last minute. It's frustrating. And I don't know, man. I better shut up because I need to let Matt talk as well.
I'm going to let Matt answer that question shortly, but just to touch on what you said about like a director of football, we've got this. I've never even seen a picture of him, but this Steve DeVille, who's finance director or whatever, he's coming. He's looking over the women's team at the moment. But what does he know? He's a finance director. He doesn't even want the role. He's fell into the role because he's kind of has to. No one else knows it unless if Murtaugh takes it over. But Murtaugh can't take it over because he's probably under so much pressure with the men's team at the moment. This guy just took over. The players have obviously said that they're in the dark and they don't know what direction the club's going in. And so for me, yeah, a technical director probably should and could work, but it can't just be a random person from another department who's just been thrown in there, because that's what's happened at the moment. Go on, Matt.
Yeah, PFA. The easiest way to describe it or link it to something, it's like a sports union for professional footballers. So it'd be like people have unions at work, teaching unions, things like that, or any other union that you may be part of. Basically, it covers, like, you know, like I say, the professional game in England. You can become a member of it, and obviously the idea is the PFA are kind of like an independent regulation, and the idea is to protect their members, and sort of just help them if there's any sort of things that need dealing with, like this fallout we've had. You know, they can sort of protect players, improve working conditions, players' rights and things like that. Any sort of contract disputes that there might be where clubs are sort of, you know, trying to get out of sort of legal contracts, and whether that's, you know, bonuses, paying them, things like that. You know, players or managers, you know, it doesn't have to be players, coaching staff as well, can go to the PFA, and it's kind of like independent advice. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'd liken it to citizens' advice, but for professional footballers. And like I say, you know, you become a member. It's a big organisation. HQ is actually in Manchester, just not far from Oxford Road, if any of you are familiar with that. But yeah, like I say, you know, they're sort of there to be, what do you call it, like a go-to, an in-between, a link between player and club if there is a fallout. And obviously they do the awards as well, don't they, where it's like, you know, people can vote PFA Player of the Year, Goal of the Year, Player of the Year, things like that. And then currently there are a few players now who sit on that board. So I think there's 4 representatives just been nominated from the women's game. There's a load from the men's game. There's players, there's coaches. So, yeah, hopefully that answers the question. It's like I say, like a little sort of independent panel for sort of player welfare and things like that.
Go on, Nat.
Yeah, what Matt was saying, like a PFA, for me, it could be a good thing. I know I don't want to like shine positives on things, and I know people are saying, and I totally back what Ben said about the whole there and after thought, and that's how it's feeling. The more it goes on, the longer we don't know, the way that they run their social media, you know, all that about, you know, everyone's happy. Everyone's calling John Murter Don Murter because he's sorted out Sancho, he's sorted out this, Varane, like I said, that other guy, Cameron Varley, I don't even know. You know, he's sorted all this. That's his aim. Everyone's going to be happy. Season tickets at Old Trafford are sold out. People are happy. The Glazers that's what the Glazers are about. Getting that money in, making sure the fans aren't happy. The fans did that protest. But is everyone going to protest, say, if the women's team finish 4th again? Probably not. If it's just sort of looking like it's stagnating, probably not. So, yeah, it's easy to sort out Sancho and this and that and keep your fans on side. But they did still go back and said there's going to be investment. And there probably will be investment. You know, they're going to be in Carrington. They're going to do this. But there's no drive, ambition. I mean, that was something that I read in the article. Maybe I was reading it myself, but they're questioning what's the ambition of the team, what's this? And there's, like I said, I brought up Jackie, I brought up these players that we've got. Are they going to stay? Probably not. And it's probably just going to float. I don't know. You know, people are talking about, like I said, someone said, oh, is it going to fold? I don't think it's going to fold. I think they'll keep going because it'll be even worse if they fold. I mean, the whole reason that they brought in the women's team is that they were sort of, there's a pressure to bring it in. And we were the only sort of top flight English team, you know, that hadn't had a team. But then if you look at, say, I'm not disrespecting anyone, Leicester, Spurs, they're top flight and they've only just gone professional. So listen, we went professional straight away. Yes, we went in at the thing, but you know, they've done things right, let's say. A lot of abuse was dished out when they went into the championship, but now everyone's professional in the championship. Championship is the second sort of professional league. There's going to be 2 professional leagues in thing. And I'm seeing people, I saw Jockey sort of say something before. Oh, it's way up, but he sort of said, do contracts not end? Maybe it's the players in limbo that leads something.
Yeah.
That could be the one. That could be what it is. You know, maybe the sort of, you know, oh, we're not going to, like Matt said, he's heard people are still here, but we've not heard anything about new contracts. So what's going on? Are they waiting to hear from a manager? Does the manager want to keep them? There's no point you giving out a new contract to someone and the manager doesn't want you, but who's the manager? And it could be that's what it is. But and then we're talking about contracts and rights and all that kind of thing. And that's what the PFA helps. So it could just be the group of 5 or 6 that are saying, you know, we're hearing things about LJ and Chelsea are getting frustrated dealing with us. And yeah, we're not here to make Chelsea's life easy. LJ's our player. We don't have to do anything. But things like that, she doesn't want to be here. You know, is it the fact that they can't get down and sort it out because, like I said, they're negotiating with Dortmund and negotiating with Real Madrid. That's sort of the priority. Probably, yeah. You know, I know people are like, oh, this is it, it's the end and all this. It's not the end. And I'll still say, I won't say there's no crisis. There's definitely major issues. But in terms of players leaving, that's normal. There are players in. That's not changed. I know we're saying, oh, this and that, but that's not changed. The players that we know are in. You know, I think I talked on Monday about Mannion doing a bucket hat. I wonder where she's going. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Let's not think there's no players joined us. Yeah, it's going to be bad. You know, maybe someone like Marion and the other one, maybe they didn't really have. And I'm not saying that she didn't have any options, but you know, so United, if you got sort of not no options, but like that Kayla Simmons, she had Villa, then United came in allegedly. Of course, she's going to go United, even though it's rubbish going on. And I know we're going to bring up Villa, but you know, would you go and fight for Villa or play for Man United? Come on. So there's still always going to be that little, you know, this is Man United kind of thing. We're still going to be able to survive for our name, but I just think we've got to the point now we can't just. Yeah, I think when we first came in, everyone ran to join us because it was Man United. Now with what's going on, maybe the players that we should be aiming at aren't going to be coming because, you know, of the way it's going on. But I still think there'll be players there for us to sign. And maybe that's sort of it. Maybe our players now are looking and thinking, are these, you know, we've sort of said it. Do we want these players to join us? No. We've talked about other players that we would rather. You know, maybe they're thinking the same as us. Is this player that Villa are going for good enough for us? Where do we see ourselves? Maybe that's some of it. And I know it's not up to them to decide. It's up to the managers, up to the board of directors, up to this. But yeah, you wouldn't. And just go back to Jackie. She's not there. She's not signed a deal. People are probably thinking, what do I want to do? And so she should do, because she's saying, I want to win Champions League. I want to be playing in Champions League. Why are you going to sign a contract with us currently at the minute if that's really what you want to do? Because maybe we might not be there again, you know, and that's it. And then I won't say it's a crisis if they thingy, but, you know, we want players like Jackie in our club, you know, and someone saying they need to get their act together. That's what it is, I think. They just, you know, need to put these resources in now, change it up, whatever. I don't even know. Well, or, like you say, just reaction, like what Ben says. Everything's a reaction. Everyone has to kick up a fuss for something. Why not just do it in the first place? And maybe this is what the PFA will help with. I don't know. Maybe they need to talk to someone like a Villa, you know, but then would United do that? Maybe need to talk to the women's side department on Villa and find out. And that's the kind of thing that PFA might do. They might say, these are examples of good, the way that good, you know what I'm saying? They might say, look at Aston Villa, this is how they did it, this is how this one did it. Oh, have we got enough sort of about us to maybe look at the way other clubs do it and think, well, that's how we want to do it? I don't know. Or are we just going to say, we're Man United, we can do it, it's working, it's fine, don't worry. I don't know. And that's where my frustration comes, like, you know.
To be fair, as well, John, you look at the academy as well, the Man United academy, they've just restructured all that again. You know what I mean? They could do it for the men's team, restructuring stuff, but why not for the women's side? Why not, you know, get that sorted? But look, you got the Neil Riders leaving the under-18s who will now be near one of the under-23s, and the restructuring all that. Look, where's the restructuring on the women's side? Well, where's the rush to do that? Just seems to be an afterthought, and that's what annoys me the most, because I love this women's side. I love this team, you know, and I want us to be successful. I want us to gain Champions League football. I want us to go and win a Champions League. I want us to go and win a WSL. I want us to go and win cup competitions. I want us to be successful. But it's got to be down to the club as well. The club they want it. They want to have it as much as we want it. Then it doesn't seem like that so far. It just annoys me when you see that. You know, of course you want the academies to grow, the under-23s and everything, but the restructuring and all that. But where's the priority for the women's team? Where's your leadership there gone? Where's your communication with people there gone? You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's annoying. Sorry, I didn't mean to put in. But it's annoying.
Look, there's over 50 people watching, so please hit the thumbs up. Yeah, I mean, we'll come on to Aston Villa shortly. We've got Chloe joining us in a bit. And Matthew can start us off on that in a second. But I do feel like we need to just sum it up a little bit. There's loads of comments out there. There's loads of things on Twitter. We're all saying different things. I just want to kind of just see what everyone's frustrated about with, like, the most. Because for me, we know about the facilities already. We know about different things that's already happened. For me, it's a lack of organisation. The fact that they knew months ago that Casey was leaving. Casey could have left even sooner. Casey could have left in February, I believe. I read that she knew what the budget was going to be 2 months before she left, but she still decided to stay. And that's why it was mentioned in 1 or 2 press conferences before the end of the season. But she still stayed until the end of the season. How has it got from February to June, July, with no communication there, not with us. We want about the players now. This has gone to another level. This is the players coming out and saying, look, we're being kept in the dark. We need to know what's going on, which surely it's not got this bad just because one person's left. I don't want about Casey, but it looks like that's it. I mean, when Sir Alex left, we all knew that back in Sir Alex's day, he was in charge of pretty much everything. Managers aren't like that now, but maybe with the women's team, Casey was in charge of a lot more than what she was probably a job role was, and she was, good at it. She was the glue that held everything together. Maybe now that she's gone, the rest of the club's like, oh, okay, how do we actually run a women's team? And that's the way it comes across to me. And that's, you just want to kind of just like finish up on that before we move on to Aston Villa.
Yeah, Casey's the glue, and that's what it looks like. And it's sad, it's upsetting. She wasn't perfect, that's what I will say, but she was the best that we had. And she, I think, probably kept a lot of this frustration that we're now hearing from the players. She kept a lot of that back, or sorted a lot of that, or, they signed for her, so they believed in her. And now she's gone, no one's in. Well, what is there to believe in? Where's this going to go? And, we're all massive Man United fans. We love this club. I think probably, I think Steve and John and all these people, they love it as well. It's just, I think we've been so used to Man United only being the men that now the women are there. It's sort of, oh, which one do I like? Which one is my first team? Which one is this? Whereas we just need it to be, boom. Like I said, I think it's a team in its own right, when it needs to have that support around it. I don't know whether I don't know what they're going to do. We've not heard anything. I'm surprised we've not heard anything as well from other journalists digging. I know people are sort of saying, oh, it's all lies, but from what I've heard as well about the accommodation thing, that's true. But then people question that, but it is what it is. It apparently got resolved or semi-resolved, but it's obviously come out for a reason. Martin, I think he's a good guy. I know Craney likes him a lot. I like Healy a lot. I don't know. There's good people there. We just need to probably listen to them a lot, learn from them, not think we can do it ourselves. Yeah, we're Man United. We're the biggest team in the world. We're the best. But be humble as well and know that you don't. I think they do know that they don't know about women's football, but, go to people like Martin and Healy, even some of our players, Siobhan Chamberlain, that's a name that I brought up, and a lot of people in the comments are saying her name. Go to her, ask her, learn from, because I didn't know a lot about women's football, and I went to learn, and I'm reading things every day, and I'm learning about different leagues, and, I'm not ashamed to do that. I'm a Man United fan, a massive Man United fan, but I'll still ask other fans about their opinions and stuff, and we need to do that as well. We love the way we have it, Man United conquers all. I love that kind of mentality, siege. But when it's falling around us, we need some help. So, like I said, it might be a good thing, but it might continue to spiral out. I hope not. Well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
We're going to move on. Ben, I know that you're going to go into even more detail on this on Saturday night with obviously Matt and you other guest who's coming on. But this article is massive, so there's so much we can get into, and we've only just scraped the surface here. So there's lots more to talk about. And we've mentioned Siobhan Chamberlain. Matt, did you say that you're going to do a show on Tuesday regarding Shivi?
Yeah. So this was something. I'd obviously talked about this sort of when she was on about coming back from, her pregnancy. And I did say, we'd be stupid not to get her in, whether she's a mentor for the devs, whether she comes in as a coach, or just, like head of football for me. Obviously, we later found out she didn't want to become a coach. She retired and she went on to do this sporting sort of master's degree. So, yeah, and then obviously Natalie tweeted it the other day and a few people have been commenting on it. So obviously I had a chat with Gareth, who's also on my Tuesday show, and we come up with a few ideas and things. But yeah, Tuesday we're going to sort of really go into detail on that and sort of the off-the-pitch things involving that. So yeah, that'll be this Tuesday.
Cool. So we're just going to find like light in the mood a little bit and just go on to Aston Villa. So we are still waiting for Chloe. She's stuck in traffic getting back home. So just bear with us. But Chloe's an Aston Villa supporter. And Aston Villa is one of my local teams. Aston Villa's got a new manager that we know, Nat, will talk about shortly. And they've also signed some players that I know, Craig, you'll know a lot about. So do you want to just kind of introduce us a little bit, Matt, about what Aston Villa have done so far this summer and how much good business it actually is?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think they've shocked me, to be fair, and just in terms of the name, I think we saw last season, and like you said, Natalie knows Wardy inside out pretty much, but we saw last season the job she did with Birmingham on no money. So I suppose really I shouldn't have been shocked, because with some money at Villa, and they've obviously fully integrated with the men's, she's made so far 5, really good signings. I think if I was a Villa fan, I'd be satisfied, at the minute. She's got experience in there, people that have played WSL before, have the know-how of the league. And listen, I think last year, I didn't see much of Villa, but that's probably what they needed. I think they had a young squad. They brought in God knows how many players last summer, 11, 12 maybe. I don't know if there's any Villa fans watching that will correct me, but I think when you bring in that many, it's difficult to gel. I think, the previous manager, I thought it was harsh on Gemma, getting sacked. But that said, maybe, I don't know, they got reasons for that. They wanted to go a different way, and I know they got rid of the backroom staff as well. Marcus came in and then obviously disappeared as well. So listen, it's all change and fair play. They've got the reasons. But I think Carla coming in offers stability. And I think what you see with these signings is pretty much what you get. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be down at the bottom this season. Pretty confident of that. I think, 5 players. They've got Remy Allen, who I saw a lot of last season at Leicester. Very, very good player, tough tackler, good with the ball, a leader, bags of experience. I think when it was announced she left Leicester, there was, not for me, but for others, there was a big shock, and Leicester fans. And I think, that just tells you alone what she brought to that team. She was joint captain there with Sophie Barker, so very, very experienced. You've got Megan Sargent, that was formerly of Birmingham and Bristol. Again, defender, played WSL for many years, experienced. Alicia Lehman, West Ham. Somebody that, I'd mentioned a couple of weeks back. I would have taken as a squad player. She's only 22, so I think the potential's there. Hannah Hampton, Birmingham, goalkeeper. I think, they shipped God knows how many goals last year, Villa. So I think to bring in somebody that's involved within the England first team, and let's not forget she's only young. She made a debut very, very young. It feels like she's been around for a while, and in fact, it's probably been about 4, maybe 5 seasons. So again, a capable pair of hands there, and again, something that's not the finished article. She looked all right last season for Birmingham. Yes, she's not the finished thing, and yes, there might have been mistakes, but listen, that happens everywhere. And then Chantel Boyhalorka, Everton winger. Very, very quick player. I can imagine if she gets regular game time on one side and Lehman on another, that's going to be a nightmare for fullbacks. Unfortunate, really. I don't know what's sort of gone on at Everton, whether there's just been a falling out or something. But, I saw her and she's kind of come through their academy, and I've seen her play, and she's very, very, very good player. Can use both feet. So, yeah, I think just to summarise, if you're a Villa fan, it's looking okay. I know Craig's saying there, Villa changed half the squad last summer. Yeah, it's pretty much, as I was saying sort of a few minutes back, and it's slowly now going to come together for them, I think. Listen, Nat will tell you more about Wardy than I will, but I think, good start. I like I said, I'd be really chuffed as a Villa fan with those signings. And listen, there might be more to come. There might be more surprises. So who knows? But yeah, if there's any Villa fans watching, come and give your comments and your thoughts.
Well, that's the thing. Go on, Nat. You carry on.
No, I don't. Just if anyone else wants to go in, yeah. I know Matt was sort of building up for the Wardy love, so I can wait on that. Listen, I said Wardy's name. I'm saying it regularly, consistently. Even before Casey was going, I was saying her name on this show, and I know it's Man United show, but even when it was first stuff, when we weren't happy with things, and I was saying, look at Wardy, look at Wardy, look at Wardy. And then obviously Casey, the minute she left, I said Wardy. And then, I've probably got more love for Wardy Then Matt probably has for Leicester. You know, I adore that woman and what she did. I told her on that first day when she took over Birmingham, I knew she was going to keep them up. I knew it, and she did it. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, they didn't play a game. They got points deducted. All this rubbish, the same rubbish. That's probably, you know, lack of communication. Birmingham players had to go. Craig will tell us. Birmingham players had to go to the PFA because of their facilities. We saw pictures of them in a porta cabin lifting weights or whatever it was. You know, I don't think we are at that Birmingham stage. But listen, the things are mirroring up. Facilities are poor communication. The board, you know, all that is sort of mirroring just on a bigger scale. You know, and I didn't want Wardy to have to go through that again. It sounds like she's getting a lot of support. I mean, I think if she was given the United job, she probably would go for it. I think she'd be amazing as our manager. I know Villa fans would probably say no, but I think, you know, she's got experience of how to deal with a board like ours. Yeah, it's a lot bigger, but you know what she went through at Birmingham will put her in good stead and know how to do it. Like Matt said, the signings absolutely world class for Villa and where they're at. You know, there's talk now that we're supposed to be copying her. You know, she was bringing in that Kayla Simon for Villa, and now we're looking at getting her. And I know we've got something lined up about talking about her, and you know, people doing articles, and there'll be more talk about that. But you know what Carla Ward has done at Aston Villa and at Birmingham, for me, she was the right choice. And you know, I know Villa won't want to see her go, but I think she's going to go far. And I think who knows what she does, where she stays there a couple of years. And I think once a big club comes for her, she'll be there. But I just hopefully we're in that bracket where we can be that club, because I think she could take us far. I really do. That's how highly I rate her. I was saying to her, I can see her being an England manager. You know, that's how much I rate her. And this is just from me meeting her. Ben will know. We used to go to Sheffield just to watch Ebony and Non-Play and Bentley, and just the way she galvanises, the way she makes you feel, the way, you know, even the players talked about it at Birmingham, the way, you know, she makes you feel special, and she had that casiness about her, you know, players first and all that kind of thing. And I think she's got a really good eye for the signings. You know, some people say, oh, you know, tactically this. And no, I think she'll be good. And I think she will bring people in around her. She knows that she needs help with this, and she'll reach out for it. Whereas this is something that we sort of said about Casey. Maybe she didn't do that enough. You know, she'd like to take everything on herself and would do everything. I think Wardy would delegate a lot. But yeah, listen, don't watch Aston Villa. Don't watch Carla Ward. If she could be our manager, I'd break the bank. I'd do anything to get her here. I really would. And that's, you know, we've heard about top European, this and that. We're talking about Barcelona manager being available. Yeah, it's great. But I would still go back and get Carla Ward in as our manager, because I think she knows about it. She knows how to develop players. She knows how to, you know, make players better. And I feel that's what we're working with. We're not working with just bringing in Harder and Sam Kerr and world-class players. Barcelona have got world-class players. The guy won the treble. You know, we're dealing with making players better, bringing in the youth. And for me, next to Casey, Carla Ward is that person. And I think she was robbed of the manager of the year. I know whatever, but, you know, for me, that she kept them up, and then see what she does next year. See, and then everyone will come and say, Natalie, you were right. And I'll be like, I told you. Should have been Carla Ward. Well, you know, let's see what she does. Let her do it at Villa, and then maybe it will be Carla Ward at MUFC.
But I'll bring you in. But Aston Villa, to me, looks like that they're doing, maybe to like a lower level, but like they're doing exactly what we should be doing. We got like a manager. Obviously, we needed to replace a manager, so did they. We needed to bring in a wholesale of changes. They're doing that. There's still time to go. And they've got quality players who we actually wanted to potentially bring in as well, because we would have been happy with Lehman as a squad player. Okay, some of these players would have come in as a squad for us, maybe as a start 11 for them. But still, they're doing all the right things, aren't they? I'm going to bring Chloe in while you talk, Ben.
Yeah, I see we're doing the right things, and I agree with Natalie on Carla Ward. To be fair, I can see her potentially being a future Manchester United manager. I don't think she's there yet, but in a couple of years' time, 2 or 3 seasons' time, why not? You know, she's a really good quality coach, and I like her, my management. And then we saw it at Sheffield United up close and. Well, to be fair, this ain't really up close, did we? Not, to be honest with you. We did go watch Ebby. We did go watch Dom down at Sheffield United. Our management skills are absolutely top notch. I think she's going to go very far as a coach and as a manager. If it's not for Man United, it could maybe one day be an England job for Carla. You know, I totally agree with Natalie. The sky's the limit for Carla Ward. Unfortunately for Aston Villa, I can't see her being there for very long. Maybe a season or two, and then once the next stepping stone comes up, a big club start coming sniffing around, then I think she's every right to go and move on. I think, especially if she does well for Aston Villa over the next season or two, you know, especially they seem to be investing very well. They seem to be getting the right players in. I think they're taking it a lot more serious than we are at the minute, unfortunately. You know, but listen, the sky's the limit for Carla Ward, and I think she could be in a top job sooner than what most people think. And I think, and that's just down to how good she is as a manager presently, and how far she could go as a manager in the future. Because she is honestly one of the best managers that I've seen in the women's game. And I know I've not been around the women's game very long, but you know, we see it when we saw her up close and personal in the way she managed Sheffield United. When we went to watch them, we went to watch the devs on, sorry, not the devs, but our players on loan. You know, you always like kept an eye on Carla Ward. You know what I mean? And listen, she's gone out of her way to you know, to make Natalie feel welcome and part of things at Sheffield United with, you know, with the shirts and all that lot, you know. And I thought, what a class act from a manager that is. You know, we're Man United fans, but yeah, Carla's gone out of her way to like say to Nat, thank you for your support. I know you don't really support Sheffield United, you know. I know you're a United fan, but for the support that you've given to your players out on loan and to also to my players that have been currently with me and everything. And I thought that was absolutely top class from Carla Ward. And listen, that's the sort of person that you want as a Manchester United manager. That sort of person that will go out their way to, you know, to bring fans in and to respect the fans, and just like Casey Stoney did. Yes, I agree with what Natalie said as well. I think Carla will ask for help, whereas I think Casey Stoney's a bit too proud to ask for help. Casey Stoney is probably a lot more than Alex Ferguson more, where she wanted like complete control. You know, I want this, I want that. I know how to do it. And I think, to be fair, let's be fair to Casey though. That's the way she had to do it right from the start. You know, she had to bring the players in. She had to bring in an assistant manager. She had X amount of time to set this football club up in the way that she did. But Carla Ward, I tell you, I totally agree with Natalie. In the next season or two, don't be surprised when you've got big teams sniffing around, or the Lionesses start coming sniffing around her, because that is a top quality up and coming British manager that we should be looking at for the future top job. But I wish her all the best at Aston Villa. I really do, and I hope it goes well for him. Apart from when they play United, of course. But you know, I'll let the Aston Villa fans speak now. Anyway, I've spoke too much.
Chloe, thank you for coming. I know that you've had a manic evening. It's good to have you back on.
Sorry for being a bit late. It went over a bit.
So where have you
practice?
Okay, so Archie was at football practice. How are you, Archie? You okay?
Good, thank you.
Do you recognise somebody on the screen?
Huh?
Do you recognise this person at all?
You've been asking about Natalie a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he keeps asking, is the Sheffield United fan going to be on? Because I really want to talk to her.
Yeah, I remember that game. Villa beat Sheffield. We lost.
Good game, wasn't it?
Good game, yeah.
Yeah, Sean Rogers took you on the pitch after, and you had a little kickabout with her, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
I've gone so much.
Yeah.
Did you see my face then, and can you see my face now?
Yeah. You look so big now. Jumping up and down, saving the penalties. I've seen it.
See, everyone watches you.
And guess what? It was so funny in that match where it was a 1v1, yeah, with Rogers, yeah, and then Chloe said, slip, and then that player slipped.
Oh, yeah, it was a bad day. I think Amy Palmer from Man United was playing that day, and I think they lost. Was it 3-1? Villa won. I think there was a penalty at the end, or did you win by more? I don't even know.
What?
But I remember Villa playing
Away to Sheffield?
at home.
Oh.
You guys were at home.
Oh, yeah. We were losing, and, like, we come back into the game, and that was unreal.
Yeah.
That was.
So Chloe, obviously, next season, hopefully, you're not going to be down the bottom as much, and you're going to be mid-table at least. Looking at your signings and your new manager, what are your thoughts on next season?
Oh, honestly, I'm really impressed with the signings that we've made so far. You're happy? Who's your favourite signing so far?
It has to be Hannah.
Yeah.
She's too good.
You agree? Yeah? Hannah. Yeah.
I would have liked Hannah I think we've talked about a keeper, Sophie Bagley, but Hannah is really good up there.
Yeah, she's a class young keeper, you know. I wasn't too keen on Lisa. I think she's made quite a few mistakes last season, you know, like with the United game, for example, and like she's done it a few other times, passing the ball to the striker and it's ended up in the back of the net. So like I'm just happy we've got a young, good goalkeeper in. More competition means they're only going to get better, and it also means this little man gets to watch some better keepers and improve your game as well, don't you?
Yeah, and I had a competition at my football tournament. Yeah, and I didn't get to go. Yeah, but they lost completely, so it was a really bad tournament, and I got dropped out of that tournament, and my dad said that was karma, and no, and before my training session before that, I wasn't diving because I was nervous. And
you was ill last week. Therefore, we thought
Yeah.
you had done
and
your
2 weeks
appendicitis.
before that, and I didn't. But this week I've came off the nervous, and I've just been diving for the ball.
It's the best way to do it, absolutely. That's good.
I told you he's a chatterbox. He'll just go on and on.
Oh, it's okay. I'm used to it with Ben, so it's absolutely fine. We're used to chatterboxes. It's all good.
That's my story about football.
Oh, shit.
Good. It's good that you like watching the girls as well, Archie. I know you've always watched them, and I know you were singing songs, and I heard the song about Wardy. So have you got any? I know you're excited for the new players, but where do you think Villa are going to do? How do you think they're going to do next season?
I think they're going to be rather around first place or something.
Third?
Or second, I don't know.
Oh, that sounds
Oh.
good.
Ambition.
Wardy going to get the job done, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to sing them your song that you made about the Blues and Wardy?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Go on then. There's some blues watching.
We're gonna mess the Blues up. We're gonna mess the Blues up with Wardy at the range.
Yes.
What are you saying, Craig, in the comments?
I bet Manchester United will mess them up too.
Oh, the blues
Yeah.
up. We're going to mess the blues up, yeah. We need to mess up City Blues, though. City Blues. And Birmingham Blues, but City Blues.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we have Hannah Hampton because when we play against Arsenal,
She made lots of
Vivian
saves,
Medina is going to struggle to get past us.
Yeah.
Chloe, what do you think of your new manager then? Obviously, that was it's a big coup, really, because she was rumoured to be going maybe to a club that was a little bit higher in the league. But obviously, you've got her, and now you've got all these new signings. You must be happy with the way it's going.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting to get her, to be honest. But at first, I was a bit hesitant. But now, the signings are coming in, I'm really confident with what she's doing. She's brought in some class players. couldn't beat us last year. They're meant to be an established WSL team, and they've just bottled it. They've gone downhill, haven't they?
Yeah,
They lose all their best players.
Villa, I'm actually quite happy. I'm actually quite happy with our new manager because that manager is from Blues and Hannah Hampton is from Blues, so she could train lots of us really good.
So we know how to beat the Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One player that has left you though, which I'm sure you was probably disappointed about, was Eva Booty. Was you disappointed when you see her lose?
What player was you upset when they left?
Can I choose two?
Yeah, you can choose two.
It's probably going to be Urubuchi and Follis.
Yeah, you was really close with Follis, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because you come round the house and she'd always speak to you. Yeah. And you was close with her mum and nan, weren't you? They'd always talk to you at the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved Follis. He idolised her. So, like, when he found out she was leaving, he just got up and hugged me and didn't let me go.
So there's a comment here if you want to answer that one before we start wrapping up.
Thoughts on Mark versus football last season? I mean, he done the job, didn't he? But I didn't like his style of play. And like, I used the Blues game, for example. Like, he was getting the girls to play into the corner for like with 11 minutes left to go. Who does that? That game annoyed me so much.
Natalie,
Yeah.
how have you been feeling about Manchester United this season?
Oh God. We did well. We were top of the league, and I thought we were going to win it. Actually, I really did. But bad things have happened. They don't support the girls like they support the boys. That's what we're feeling. I was sad to see Casey leave, but I wanted Carla to come in. Now I just hope someone good like Carla comes in because I think she's really good, Wardy, and I think you've got a really good manager. And I'm just waiting to see. Bit upset, but I'm sure we'll be back. I'm sure we'll be good. And I'm definitely going to come down to see Carla and see what she does. So I'll come and see you then. Yeah, we can sing that song together, yeah?
Yeah, would that be good?
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I was sad that when we played our first match, it wasn't Roger's Rogers could have done better, but it wasn't Rogers' mistake. It was Rogers' defenders what made the mistake.
It was a poor pass back.
Yeah, and when it's all the defenders' fault, it all goes the blame onto the goalkeeper, and that's what made Rogers lose his spot, but she was still a goalkeeper for Villa, and that just made me sad.
We are running a little bit over, but I do just want to hear like two things that I've seen on your Twitter, Chloe. One was with Archie doing some charity work, and one was with Archie with Liv Cook. Do you just want to kind of just fill us in a bit what happened on those 2 days before we go?
Yeah, of course. So basically, what was it for now? Yeah, so basically, I can't remember what it was for now, but like loads of like footballers, like Vivian was involved with it, and like you got to speak with the players and everything. Oh, Champions League final, weren't it?
Yeah, and I get to speak to Liv from TikTok.
Spent 30 minutes, didn't she?
Yeah, and
you was talking about a Lamborghini, weren't you?
Yeah, and I did a comment, and I put shoot, and then so it was Liv, shoot, ball, and then shoot, goal. No, it was like for goal as for like goal, what the goalkeeper stands in. and then it was a goal as the ball goes in the net, and then she said, "I bet I can't score past you."
Yeah.
She's a United fan. She came to our home ground to watch us play Chelsea, I think, in the Conti Cup. So she was there. Yeah, so she knows what team to support. And what was the other one, Chloe?
Oh, hold on 1 minute. I'm taking you to see Liv in Soccer Aid in September, aren't I? You're going to get to see her?
Soccer Aid.
Yeah.
It's not called Soccer Aid, by the way. It's called Football Aid.
Yeah, football.
Yeah, basically, Archie's like the most caring young lad like you'll ever meet. Like he just cares so much about like people and like the world and animals.
Yeah, I
And-
won't let her pick him the other day.
Yeah, they know.
And I've been planning to, when I get older and I get lots of money, and I was going to give lots of it to the poor people.
Yeah,
Very nice.
basically, Archie just likes helping out. Like the litter picking, he just decided to do it, so I took him out to go and do it. And like he adopts animals, so like when
Adopted
hold on, 1 minute, don't interrupt. Yeah, so like with the Australian fires, Archie wanted to help out, so he adopted a koala bear. Like, and how much was it? Was it £50? We sent to help look after Paulwood.
No, 100.
Oh, I don't think it was that much. Yeah, and like he's adopted a penguin as well. But Archie just loves doing things for everyone, basically.
Archie, that's really good. Keep doing what you're doing, absolutely. And we'll definitely see you at the stadium.
And I look after ants and spiders. I just look after every animal in the world.
That's good. That's absolutely brilliant. We are going to wrap up the show. Archie, Chloe, thank you for coming on. We'll speak to you again when we've got more time, definitely before the season starts. We'll have a bit of a roundup. Hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Natalie, Ben, we'll catch you on. Natalie, you're on with me tomorrow, aren't you? Friday night, if you're free. Ben, you're back on again on Saturday, if you're free. Friday, feel free to jump on. Thank you again, Chloe and Archie. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Loads of people watching. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
See you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Archie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.